Hey everyone, it's Rob with Power Group. It's Wednesday, August 19th. And in today's video, we're going to discuss the FOMC meeting minutes, and I'll give you guys an update on that, and then we'll look at the charts. But before we dive into that, make sure you smash the like. It shows me support. Consider subscribing. So first, I'll bring up an article here from MarketWatch. Title of the article was fairly negative. So the Fed lowers their economic growth forecast for the rest of the year. I've also highlighted a couple of other things here. So if we take a look at the rate of the recovery of the gross domestic product, the pace of declines in unemployment rate to be somewhat less robust than in their previous forecast. And the staff blame the slowdown on the increasing spread of the coronavirus mid-June, slowing of state reopenings of businesses. So depends significantly on the course of the coronavirus pandemic, yada, yada, yada. The staff forecast assumed additional fiscal stimulus measures. So they were hoping for more stimulus, but we haven't received that yet. And Fed Jerome Powell continues to reiterate they're not thinking about raising interest rates. So whether or not that's true, I don't trust the government or the Federal Reserve as far as I can throw them, but hey, we'll have to wait and see. There's been an increase in uncertainty about the economic outlook, and they're going to keep interest rates near zero, and they're going to start purchasing 120 billion of US treasuries and mortgage-backed securities. We'll touch on more on what that means in just a second. And several Fed officials said that additional monetary easing steps could be required to strengthen the economy. Some said that the strong fiscal support would be necessary, according to the minutes. Going forward, a number of Fed officials thought the central bank should rewrite its forward guidance and pledge to keep interest rates low until one or more economic outcomes were achieved. So you can check out that MarketWatch article. So I wanted to just touch on them purchasing treasuries. So historically, and you can find this at Investopedia, but historically bonds have been a good alternative to stocks during times of trouble, so such as a pandemic, right? So Treasury bonds in particular are backed by the full faith and credit of the US government. So in my opinion, this is why we saw the dollar spike, which I'll bring up the dollar chart in a few minutes here. And the Fed says it's going to start buying into, so I thought I'd mention this. I brought this to your attention because we saw a couple of months ago that they were going to start buying individual corporate bonds, and the stock market responded extremely bullish to that. So in today's Fed minutes, we saw that they were going to start buying treasuries. So I think that's why the dollar was on a slow grind up, and it actually shot up when the stock market started to go down. So when SPY was going down, they had an inverse correlation. So I thought I'd just give you guys a little bit more background on that, but that's definitely why we dipped, in my opinion. And you can also check out the full meeting minutes, which I will highlight in the comments below. I'll leave a link there in the comments below. But I wanted to highlight a couple of things. So their balance sheet declined over the period from 7.2 trillion to 7 trillion because of improved market conditions. And we also saw the Board of Governors voted unanimously to leave interest rates on required and excess reserve balances of 0.10%. And the Board of Governors also voted unanimously to approve establishment of primary credit rate and the existing level of 0.25%, effective July 30th, 2020. And the next FOMC meeting will be on September 15th, 2020, the 15th and the 16th. So moving on to the charts, so we can see that SPY closed near the low of the day, and we had a bearish reversal candle here on the daily. We also have quite a bit of bear volume here. So when volume was dropping off, we did notice that the volume picked up on the bear side today, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more downside continuation tomorrow. Zooming in, so we're still in a daily uptrend. We do need to hold. We had a tiny daily higher low here at the 335.62. So if we can hold that level, we're still technically in an uptrend. Those of you that don't really think that that was a meaningful pullback, I'd probably be in that boat, so I could understand that argument, but you might want to see a hold of the 332.01 level. So as long as we hold that level, then we're still technically in a daily uptrend. Personally, I've been taking a short position in SPY, just accumulating on every new high that we set. And today we obviously set a brand new all-time high, and the all-time high is 339.61. We did also double top. I was watching that double top. So you can see here we had 339.61, and then we hit 339.58. So we came off by 0.03, and that was right around the time that it was actually the exact time that the FOMC was going on. So that's when we saw that negative reaction. In my opinion, it was because they were going to start buying treasuries, said that the economic outlook was not that great for the rest of the year. So moving over to the dollar, we see that the dollar had a strong day. So we have a green Maribozu candle, has a little bit of wick on the bottom, but basically engulfing the entire body of the previous candle, and the daily bounce is underway. Zooming into the hourly chart, we have an hourly higher low down here at 92.63. So 92.63 is going to be a support level to be watching, and the next resistance we have is at 93.12, which we are closing up on very, very closely now. Taking a look at the 15-minute, 15-minute is in a clear uptrend. We have lots of higher lows on the 15-minute as support. So bulls in full control of the dollar chart, and zooming into where we were at 1400. So you can see here, that's when we saw this huge spike up. So in my opinion, that has to do with the purchasing of US treasuries. And I also wanted to highlight VIX. So VIX, we've been watching the wedge here. So using the candle bodies, you can see that we were watching a falling wedge. It looks like it is starting to break out of the falling wedge, but it's being rejected here at EMA 12 resistance. So keeping an eye on that, but wouldn't be surprised if we see a spike in volume and interest tomorrow and some continuation to the upside, and then we'll be watching 24.93 as the next resistance. QQQ finished low of the day as well, and it's in a 5-minute downtrend. Taking a look at the daily. The daily consolidation still not underway, but we do have a daily higher low down here at 270.72, and next support is at 264.63. Zooming into the hourly, so you can see here we formed a new high, almost set a double top similar to SPY when the FOMC started, and then we went to a new low of the day, closed near the low of the day, and we are no longer in an hourly uptrend. So we'll be looking to form a daily higher low whenever that happens. XLV, the healthcare sector, so you can see closed near the low of the day, and we just barely broke the low of yesterday. So it looks like daily consolidation is underway on the healthcare sector as well. Moving on to XLF. So XLF was strong all day, and then we faded with everything else into the end of the day. And that's why SPY dropped significantly $2, is because all of these markets were pulling back, which we'll look at the rest in just a second. But taking a look at XLF, XLF just looking for a daily higher low. So we'll look to the hourly chart for our guide there. Once we've changed the hourly trend, then we can be scouting a daily higher low, and it would be likely set at that point. Taking a look at the energy sector, closed near the low of the day as well, broke the low of yesterday, so daily consolidation clearly underway, and we were looking to form a daily higher low, but that just didn't happen. We didn't form a lower high, so we're not in a downtrend yet. We're still looking for a daily higher low. Next support on XLE is down here at 36.37. Moving on to XBI, so the biotech sector, common theme, closed near the low of the day. Didn't break the low of yesterday's candle. We are an inside bar and tightening range, so we'll keep an eye on that. Next support, we had a little mini higher low down here at the 109.60 level, and then we can look toward 107.69. Taking a look at the hourly chart, like I said, it's in an equilibrium, so we're just watching this tightening range on the biotech sector. Moving on to gold. So gold saw a pullback, and Bitcoin was also down to start the day. So we were looking for a potential lower high on the daily chart. So if this is, and that's some significant bear volume. So this could potentially be the reversal happening. And it's all about the low of 1862.89. So if we can hold that level, that will negate the downtrend. But if we close below that level, then we have a daily downtrend on gold. So keeping an eye on gold. Silver held up a little bit better than gold, and it's holding EMA 12 support. And we do not have any daily support on silver until 23.44. Moving on to the semiconductors. Semiconductors closed near the low of the day, and overall weakness broke the low of yesterday. So still has EMA 12 support as well, but we're going to be watching the hourly chart as our guide. So as you can see, we are still in an hourly downtrend. So we have increasing bear volume. Did have a little bit of a lower wick, but we'll want to be scouting that daily higher low, and a change in the hourly trend will give us that. Finally, we'll look at the Russell 2000 ETF. So as you can see, the Russell had a mini bear break here, almost changed the daily trend bearish, but didn't really have much follow through. So if we zoom out to the weekly, that could be a weekly bull flag. And we don't have any previous resistance up until 169 on IWM. And we have support down here at 133.28. So going into tomorrow, what I'm going to be watching is the momentum to the downside, whether or not we see VIX spike and continue to spike, whether or not we see the dollar strengthening, and whether or not we see SPY change the hourly trend. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below. Make sure to like the video, share the video. If you can think of anybody who would benefit from it, consider subscribing to the channel. Tick the little bell and you'll be notified on the next update. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.